What is the funniest court case you've seen? I found myself sitting as a judge pro tem in Los Angeles County's night court, which is held once a month at various courthouses in LA County. I had a Spanish language interpreter for this one case, and the lady before me was crying and doing her best to control her tears. I could tell she was very, very upset. I gently asked her what was wrong. Through the interpreter, she said she was so scared and so nervous about what was going to happen in court. I told her not to worry. No one is going to jail tonight, so let me see what was going on. I read through the county's paperwork, but my copy was terrible, and I could only see that it looked like she was cited for an expired dog license. It had turned into an arrest warrant, and the bail was enormous. Then there were penalties on top of the bail. I said, "Ms. Doe, are you really here for an expired dog license?" The audience laughed aloud, and she said yes, with tears streaming down her face. I was confused because I had never seen anything like this before. I must have really looked confused, because the people in the courtroom laughed harder when I tried to read my terrible copy of the paperwork, then looked up at her, which led to more laughter. I told a woman that I am confused by why the fine was so high. Then she said she didn't know what the fine was, and I told her it appears to be $7,000, give or take. She began to cry again, and the audience laughed again. I reminded the audience that they were in a courtroom. I told the woman that it looks like the citation was given in 2012, and she said she got the ticket in 2002. I asked, "You got this citation 15 years ago, and only now you decide to come to court?" The woman nodded tearfully and said, "Yes." Again, laughter. I asked her what happened to cause this citation, and she said she was out jogging and had Goofy with her. I said, "Who's Goofy?" She said, "My little dog." I asked what kind of dog is Goofy, and she said, "A Chihuahua." I asked her to go on, and she stated, "I crossed the street, and there was a police car that I didn't see, and the cop motioned for me to come back across the street back to him. So I ran back across the street to him, and the police officer said I jaywalked, and he was going to give me a ticket. I told him that that was crazy because he is the one who called me to come back across the street. Then he said he wasn't going to give me a ticket, and he was playing with Goofy. Then he said that Goofy's tag was expired, so he wrote on a paper to get Goofy's tag renewed. I didn't think it was a real ticket because I didn't have to sign anything, and it didn't look like any ticket I've seen before." The audience again started chuckling. "I see," I said with a sigh. "And where is Goofy today?" Her eyes welled up with tears, and she said he just died. And I asked if I was correct in believing that she got a note to update Goofy's license. It didn't look like a real ticket to her. So now, 15 years later, she decided to come to court. She said, "Yes, because I got a letter saying there was a warrant out for my arrest and I had to come to court. I thought I was going to go to jail today for Goofy's license." This amused the audience to no end. I kept thinking that this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in court. I said softly to myself, "What to do? What to do?" which brought laughter to the room again. I asked if she has other dogs at home and asked if they have licenses. She said yes, and yes, of course. I looked at this lady with tear-stained cheeks and said, "Okay, here's what I'm going to do." Her eyes were welled up with tears. She sucked in her breath and looked like she was going to faint. The courtroom for once became very silent. "This ticket is over 15 years old. You were never properly noticed as you never signed a promise to appear, and the legal file has nothing indicating you signed any such promise, but you did appear when you received notice by mail 15 years later. In the interest of justice, I am recalling your arrest warrant and dismissing this citation in its entirety and waiving all fines, fees, and assessments. I need you to go to the cashier and get a document saying this is all cleared up. Do not leave without this. I don't want to see you back here on this matter. The cashier may ask for a $25 administration fee, and I am ordering that fee waived. If the cashier disagrees, have them call me, and I'll walk over there and straighten this out myself." The audience applauded, and this lady for once actually smiled and said, "Oh my God, thank you, thank you." Then of course I said, "This concludes this matter. Next, I have matter number